Next topic is FSG, Financial Statement Generator. So what is an FSG? Why do we need to go for FSG? Okay, FSG report is a kind of it's a report building tool within the general ledger module, which can be configured or which can be designed directly by the functional consultant. You need not have any technical expertise to build this FSG report. As you know, like in Oracle, there are a lot of Oracle standard reports which are available. There are a lot of standard reports, and you also build a lot of custom reports based on the business requirement. But FSG report is a very good tool wherein you can do a reporting of different kind of account balances in a different format. So take an example, you got so many different standard reports available in Oracle, but there is no standard report which will give you, you may be surprised that there is no standard report available in Oracle to which will give you the balance sheet, which will give you your P&L account. So these are the two main financial statements which are required for any company located anywhere in the world. So there is no standard report which says that which will give you the what do you call details of your balance sheet or details of your P&L account or details of your income statement account. The reason being, every country has got a different format to display your balance sheet, profit and loss account, or your income statement. In some countries, you define your balance sheet, or you design your balance sheet very like balance sheet will look like something like liabilities, assets, balance sheet for the balance sheet as on 31st March 2017. Okay, here for the liabilities you mention your share capital, and you mention the amount. For assets you specify cash, bank, your accounts receivable, and so and so. So this is kind of one format. Okay, in some countries, so the same balance sheet will be shown as something like liabilities, assets, and under liabilities you show your share capital, and under assets, so this will be the total of all liabilities, and under your assets you will show cash, bank, etc. So take an example, cash is 5,000, bank is 5,000, and your sum of assets is 10,000. So your liabilities is equal to assets. So this is one format. So every country has got so many different formats. Even for the P&L account also, it's got a different format. So all these formats are not available as a standard Oracle report. So you can build something called FSG, Financial Statement Generator. As the name itself says, Financial Statement Generator. So using the FSG report tool, you can build your own financial statements in your own format. So even though it says FSG, even though it says like you can build a financial statement generator, you can build a financial statement. You can build any other kind of operating reports also. You can build using your financial statement generator report tool. So maybe like you want to see all what you call revenues under different cost centers by different product lines, something like that. So for our demonstration purpose, I have taken one simple example of generating a gross income statement, financial. Okay, so my income statement will look something like this. Okay, so this is how a report will be generated once we start building this. Okay, this is my objective. The objective should be something like the report title should be something like Reliance annual comparative income statement, and this is the details, that is this is my revenue, this is my cost of sales, and this is my gross profit, and these are operating expenses, depreciation expenses, this is a total expenses, and this is the net income or loss from operations. So this is a format of an income statement, one particular format of an income statement. So let us assume that Reliance follows this format. So Reliance is the company which follows this particular format, and now we want to generate a report in this format. And now let us see how we can generate a report in this particular format. So for generating an FSG reports, there are two components. There are two mandatory or important components. One is the row set and other one is the column set. So all the items which you can see here needs to be defined under something called row set. All the items which you mentioned here needs to be defined under something called column set. There are also a couple of other optional components like content set, display order, row order, other things. So we'll not get into those things. We'll start off with a simple FHA report. The FHA report is a combination of the row set and column set. So there are a couple of steps. First thing is define row set, define column set. And the third step is create a report by combining this row set and column set, and then you can run the report which will generate the FSG in this format. Okay, so first we need to start with defining of the row set, and in the row set definition we need to specify that in my rows I want to show revenue, cost of sales, gross profit, operating expenses, depreciation expenses, total expenses, and the net income or loss. So here for the gross profit I'll be using a calculations. For total expenses, it will be calculations. For net income, it will be calculations. So that is from the database, I'll be retrieving revenue amount, cost of sales, and gross profit will be revenue minus cost of sales is my gross profit. And this will be retrieved from the database operating expenses and depreciation expenses. And total expenses will be sum of operating expenses and the depreciation expense. And net income will be my gross profit minus total expenses. Am I clear here? What are we trying to achieve? Hello, are you guys clear?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now we start up with the row set. So the navigation for that would be reports, define, row set. So this is what I was saying. Row set, column set, and other things like content set, order, display set. These are all optional components. So those components are used only just to reformat this data in a different manner. So we'll not get into those things. First, we'll start up with the row set. And row set or column set, these are the two mandatory components which are required for the report. Without these two components, you cannot build the report. So first we'll start up with the row set. Go back to my BR100. In a general what do you call it, in a live environment, whenever user gives you a requirement that this is my user generally gives a requirement like this is my report, this is how my report should look like, then you go and build your FH report in your testing environment. There will be a lot of iterations, especially because of the format. So you give some kind of spaces within the, I mean, that we can see in the row set or column set, like you give these items, you give these items, and then again underlines, and then again spaces, something like that. So there are a lot of formatting things which will come into picture. So I had already tested this with the proper values. So that's the reason why now once we generate the FH report, your generated report should be exactly in this format. Okay. Okay. The first thing is a row set. You need to give a name to the row set, and then you can click on define rows, and then you can start what do you call defining these rows. Okay. So my row set name is Reliance income statement row set. That is the name which I want to give. And the description would be Reliance income statement row set. It could be just any damn name, but I'm just using a proper naming convention. Save this. Okay, now click on define rows. Okay. Now here we are defining the first row. That is, we are defining this part. Okay. And what is the description here? Revenue. So enter the line item as revenue. And line number, from where you want to start this kind of line. It should be something here. So this is already tested. So I used a line number of say 25. I mean, so if you are starting up with a new FHA report, then you can even say line number is 10, and then once you generate the report, then you will be able to see that this revenue may not be coming here. It may be coming somewhere here. Then you realize that okay, it is not properly formatted, and then you change that line number. Okay, line number is 25, revenue. Okay, okay, back to the EBR 100. And display row checkbox is automatically checked, because if you do not check the checkbox, then obviously the row will not be displayed in the FH report. So by default you will need to check this display row checkbox and check the checkbox of display 0. So the significance of the display 0 is, for this particular revenue account balance, if the balance is 0 in the database, it will show as 0 here. Okay, in this case the balance is 0, that is really showing 0 here. If there is no balance, or if the balance is 0 in the database, and if you do not check the checkbox of display 0, then it will be something like this. Okay, that is the significance of the 0 display 0 checkbox. So by default you check the checkbox of display 0, so that you will be able to at least see a value, whether it's some positive number or negative number or some value in the field. If you do not check the display 0 checkbox, then wherever there is no balance, it will show as blanks, which doesn't look good. Okay, so check this checkbox of display 0 for this. Okay, and other important thing is change sign checkbox. Okay, change sign checkbox, why we should use the change sign checkbox for this revenue. So revenue items always shows credit balance. Okay, and as you know, in Oracle database, debits are stored as a positive values, credits are stored as a negative value. So if I do not check this checkbox of change sign, as I said, that revenue will be stored in the database as a negative value. If I do not check the checkbox, this is how it will show in the report. And then a layman who looking at the report can see that how come revenue is in negative? That's what he can think of. Am I right? So once you check the checkbox, first the report will retrieve the value from the database. uh, the report will retrieve the value from the database, and if there is a negative value or positive value, it is going to change the sign. So we know that always revenue shows a credit balance, and credit balance is stored in the database as negative, and we do not want to show the negative here. So you are checking the checkbox of change sign, so that means negative will become positive, and here it will show it as 70,000. Am I clear on this point?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the significance of this checkbox. And then there are two things: account assignments and calculations. So here we are saying this line item is a revenue item, but there are so many different revenue accounts which are available in the system. So how does system understand what are those revenue accounts which needs to be the sum of those revenue accounts which needs to be displayed in this particular report? So this particular balance of 0 or 70,000, from where exactly it is retrieving? It is retrieving from the accounts. So but which accounts, which revenue accounts? Here this is only description. Looking at this description, system do not understand what are the revenue accounts. So click on account assignments, put your cursor here, and then you need to specify the account code combination range which falls under revenue category. And I want to show this particular report only for a company 01. Okay, and I want to show this for all the revenue accounts. Okay, all the revenues are categorized under 4000 parent. So this is also another feature wherein you can use the parent child relationship functionality. So there are so many different revenue accounts. So instead of putting the entire range, I just want to use the parent of 4000. Okay, so when I use the parent of 4000, you can check the description. 4000 is the total revenue. So there are so many different revenue accounts. Instead of putting the entire range, see, you can ask me a question like how I can directly put a range of 4000 to 4999 and something like that. But there could be a scenario, the range could be something like 4 to 4999, and again it may start from 8000 to 8500. then it is not possible for us to put that particular range here, because you cannot put 4000 to 8500. If you do that, then it is going to include all other accounts which are starting with 5000 series or 6000 series. Okay, so you need to categorize all those revenue accounts into a proper range and use the appropriate parent here. And there is a display button which says total expand both. So when you say both, it is going to show you the parent as well as the corresponding chains. If you say expand, it is not going to show you the parent value. It is going to show all the chains. If I say total, then it is going to show you only one row, and that row includes the total of all chains. So that is what we want. So in our your income statement, I just want to see the value as the line item as revenue, and this should be the sum of all the chains of 4000 parent. Okay, and for other rows here you can say 00 to zzz, 00 to zzz, or you can leave it as blank. When you leave it as blank, so the system is considering all the departments, all sub accounts, all products, and all intercompany. Okay, save this. So that's the
Arvind,
yeah.
Arvind, don't we need ledger to be selected here?
It is not mandatory. The reason being, when you run your FSG report, as I said, the first step is define row set, second step is define column set, and the third step is combine this row set and column set and form a report. Okay, and then that is only just forming of a report, and then you need to run a program called program publish FSG report. When you are running that particular program, that's where you select this report name as well as the ledger. Ledger is mandatory there. So whatever you are selecting there, that will be taken into consideration. So that is the reason it is not mandatory. If you want, you can click on account assignments and you can enter your ledger name, which will be Reliance INR in this case. Okay, but you can leave it as blank, because at the end of the day, when you run your FSG program publish FSG report, which is generating the actual FSG output, so their ledger name is mandatory. Okay. Okay, so we have done with the yeah.
So Arvind, when you're not selecting the ledger here, does it mean that you want to publish this report across ledgers?
No, that's what I'm trying to say. Here I'm not mentioning any ledger name. The reason being, there is another significance of this. If I select this particular range, okay, I can use the same report in some other ledger also, because at the end of the day, when you're running your FSG report, you need to mandatorily select the ledger name, Reliance INR ledger. So as I'm selecting the ledger name when I'm running the report, it is not mandatory to select the ledger name under these subcomponents.
I mean to say, in case if you are selecting, say, Reliance USD ledger, okay, so can you run this report for INR?
I mean, so that's what, like, that is actually again a user mistake. Okay, you are here, you are saying Reliance USD ledger, and then when you are running a program, you are saying Reliance INR ledger. So what will happen is, if you do that particular scenario, my guess would be, I never tried that scenario, but my guess would be system will not generate any data. The reason being, here you are saying USD ledger, and when you are running the report, you are selecting Reliance INR ledger. So that is also one kind of a production support issue, wherein you made a mistake here, and when you are running the report, you are selecting something else. So better do not mention any ledger here, and when you are running a report, you can run the you can select the appropriate ledger. Okay, so the significance of the other significance of not selecting a ledger is, if you're not selecting a ledger here, you can form it as a kind of a generic row set template, and you can use the same template in the USD ledger or Canadian ledger. Okay, you are not mentioning any ledgers here, and in the Canadian ledger or USD ledger also, you can build your own reports and run your program published FSG report, and at the time of running program published FSG report, you select the Canadian ledger or USD ledger when running the report, and in the and in the background subcomponents, don't select the ledger. Okay,
Got it.
I mean,
Yeah.
we
So
can get into all
basically,
those permutations and combination. First of all, try to understand the concept.
exactly.
Okay, and then we can play around those things.
Got it.
Okay, so this is the first line item, which is revenue. Okay, now cost of sales. Now I want to add one more line here, so click on plus button and go back to my BR100. So this is done. Next is cost of sales. cost of sales, and line number is say 45. So just it could be any incremental number. So from 25, after 25 you can say 35 or something like that. So I just use a sequence of say 45, just increment of 20. Okay, and then again display 0. Do not check this checkbox of change sign for the cost of sales. The reason being, cost of sales includes all the expense accounts, and expense accounts always shows debit balance, and debit balances are always stored in the system as a positive value. So do not want to make any changes to this change sign, because even in the report also you are just showing whatever is retrieved from the database. Okay, and there are a couple of other things here: lines to skip, underline character, page break. What are these? Okay, first we'll come to the lines to skip. So if you look at this particular report, revenue, cost of sales, so there is one line gap here. Okay, instead of displaying this cost of sales here, system is displaying the cost of sales here. This is because here you are mentioning lines to skip as 1 before. So that means before displaying cost of sales, skip one line. Okay, so that is what is lines to skip. And here you can see an underline. How system is displaying this particular underline? Under underline character, after underscore. So after cost of sales, print a underscore line. So it is actually printing the underscore line from here up to here. So underscore line is actually looking like a straight line. Okay, and if you want to say for some reason, if you want to display a line even here at the top, then you need to say underscore before also. Is that clear? Okay, yeah, so that's for the underscore. Okay, now again here we have mentioned cost of sales, we have checked these two check boxes and mentioned these things, but we did not still mention the actual account assignments which forms part of this cost of sales. So now click on account assignments. So what are the accounts? So again I want to use it only for company 01 and accounts. As far as the cost of sales are concerned, there are 5000 is the parent which forms all the cost of sales expenses. So I am using a parent of 5000. So somewhere in the background, like when we are defining your segment values, we have already defined these parents, and 5000 is a parent which includes total cost of sales and services. That is a parent which with the description you can see total cost of sales and services. So just use a parent of 5000 and total. Click on OK. Save this. So instead of using a child ranges, we are actually using a parent. And if you do not want to use a parent, the other option would be to, if you know all those child ranges, you can put the first child range here and then put your cursor here, and then next child range, third child range, fourth child range, and so on. So instead of using those child ranges, you can use the parent. And this is the one of the functionality wherein we can use the parents. As I said that the parent-child relationship can be used only in a couple of functionalities, but not in all. And FSG is one such kind of functionality wherein we can use that parent-child relationship. Okay, save this. Okay. Now we are done with the cost of sales. Okay. Now next line item is gross profit. Put your cursor here. Click on plus to create the next row. So go back to BR100. Third line item, gross profit from revenue. So that's the line number I'm giving. Earlier it was 45. Now I'm giving it as 55. Gross profit from revenue. Okay. And now go back to this. For the gross profit from revenue, there is a line after. So underline character after. Okay. And also there is one line which is skipped before. So lines to skip before. Okay. And the significance of this indent is, if you specify say indent of 10, so that means this gross profit will be moved 10 spaces. So instead of printing from here, it will be something like remove this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, that's the significance of the indent. Okay, as far as the gross profit from revenue is concerned, it is a calculation, so you are not deriving anything. This is your revenue minus cost of sales. Okay, so don't click on account assignments, click on calculations. And in any row set or a column set, you can use any of these functionality. You cannot use both account set as well as calculation. You can go for this or this. Okay, if you do both, then system will throw an appropriate error message. Okay, even for the gross profit from revenue, say display 0. Even for this, say change sign. Okay, and click on calculations. Sequence 10, enter revenue minus cost of sales, right? So select revenue. So here you are selecting the rows, earlier rows, whatever were created in the system. Cost of sales. Okay. Save this. Okay. The tricky part is here. As I said, the definition of gross profit is revenue minus cost of sales. But here we are using plus sign. Here we are not using minus sign. There is a specific reason for that. Any guesses on that?
Always the 45 row is minus.
Sorry.
The 45th row which we are selecting cost of sales is always minus.
No. Okay. The reason for that is, as I said, for the more or less whatever you said in one way is correct, but not exactly in a correct way. Yeah. Revenue is stored as the negative value. So what is my revenue? Minus 70,000. Okay, because that is what is when you are saying gross profit is revenue minus cost of sales. System is going to first check what is my revenue. It is going to check from the database. In the database, it is minus 70,000. Only in the report, you are just changing the sign and it is showing us 70,000. But the value which is stored in the database for the revenue is minus 70,000. And the value which is stored for the cost of sale is 50,000. Okay. Now, what is our objective? Revenue minus cost of sales. So I should not be doing minus 70,000 minus 50,000. If I do that, then my balance will be minus 20,000. Am I right? But what do we want? We want 20,000. So it will be minus 70,000 plus 50,000. So minus 70,000 plus 50,000. Okay. For some reason, the formula is not working here. But anyways, minus 70,000 plus 50,000 is minus 20,000. And again, we are using the formula. We are using the checkbox of change sign. So when you use the checkbox of change sign, it will show positive 20,000. Am I clear on this point, or any confusion?
Yeah, clear, Arvind. But one thing, can you go back to that screen, the definition screen?
Mm-hmm.
When you choose the sequence, right, this 25 and 45,
Mm-hmm.
how it is restricted to only those sequences which you created just now?
Okay.
Why can't it is, because it's a row set, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you are not linking it to any particular ledger also, but it is simply restricting those two row sets only.
The reason being, the reason being, within the row set, okay, we have only two rows. Okay, so when I click on drop down, it is restricting to only the rows which are available under this row set. So that's the query behind this particular scenes is, show me all the rows which are defined under this particular row set. Forget about ledger, operating unit, and all those stuff. It is showing only those rows which are used under this row set. The reason being, you cannot use a formula for a rows which are used in some other row set. Okay, so the formulas can be used only for the rows which are used under this row set, and 25 and 45 are the only two rows which are used, which we have created under this row set, and hence it is showing only those two rows. Okay, so that's the
And Arvind,
yeah.
just in case if you have two row sets, like if you go to calculation, um, so you have like a low is 25 and high is 26.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
what would be the operand there? Will it add 25, 26?
Yes. So take an example, like say here in this case, what I'm saying is, uh, okay, that scenario will come into picture. I think somewhere here. But anyways, yeah. So let us assume like row 25 is revenue minus 70,000. Okay. There is some other revenue of say miscellaneous revenue example. Okay. Minus 15,000. Okay. And the gross profit will be minus 70,000 minus 15,000. Okay. And 50,000. So what we can do is in that case, 25 to 26 plus 45. Okay.
Okay. So
So first you add up
basically
to,
it
yeah.
will add up.
Yeah. Okay. So we are done with the
Then if
gross
that
profit.
is the
Yeah.
case, then if that is the case, why can't we define it as 25 to 45
Where in the
in
calculations?
the calculation? Yeah.
That is also a good question because what you are saying is minus 50,000 plus
Yeah, minus
20,000. Yeah,
70,000 plus 50,000.
that is fine, but at least it will be easy for you for your reference. Why we are say if you say 25 to 45, okay, it will be. I mean, if you do this way, at least it will be easy for your reference. Like what is that you are trying to do? Okay, you're trying to take first row and then the second row, and you're trying to add. So that way, it will be useful for you when you are actually referring to this particular row set. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And then operating expenses. So again, click on plus button, operating expenses, row number 70. Again, these line numbers can be any number. I'm just using some sequences. Sorry, operating expenses. Okay, now you tell me like what should I do for operating expenses? I should go for skip one line before. Am I right? And do I need to do anything for the underscore or underline character? I'm asking you guys.
No, Arvind.
No, the reason being here we are not putting any kind of a line here. Okay, so we have used skip one line before, and you can do skip one line after also. So if you do skip line one line after, going back to here. Okay, so you're skipping this and this. So if you say skip one line before and after for operating expenses, and for depreciation expenses, you do not again say skip one line. If you do skip one line before, if you do that, then it will be something like this. Okay. So lines to skip one, for operating expenses, display row, display 0. Okay, and don't do anything for the chain sign. Click on account assignments, and there are a lot of accounts which fall under operating expenses. Again, from a technical consultant perspective or functional consultant perspective, you need not break your head as to find out what are the expenses which falls under operating expenses or what are the different accounts which fall under revenue. Those details will be given to you by the business user. Okay, so as far as the operating expenses are concerned, so this is the range. Company 01 and account 6,000. 6,000 is a parent. I think 6,000 is a parent. Let me check. Yeah, total employee expenses. And then put your cursor here. And then again company 01 to 01 and account 7,001 to 7,299. 7,001 7001 to 7299. So these are all actually child. So if you observe here, so in one particular row set, we are using both parent as well as the child. That is possible. So this particular parent 6000 parent is basically a parent which stores all the childs from 6001 to 6999, something like that. And as far as this is concerned, we are using a range of 7001 to 7299. So if you observe here, 7001 is not even available in the database. So if I say 700, the starting number is only 7020, but it is still allowing me to enter 7001. So the reason being, so I am putting a range of 7001 to 7299. So any accounts, whether they are existing or whether they will be created in future, the accounts which fall under that particular range will be allowed to be categorized under this operating expenses as per my FSG. Put your cursor here. 74012 7599. I think I need not even put these two ranges. I can directly say 74012. Oh, okay, yeah, I need to do that. So that way we'll be skipping 7600. Okay, maybe 7600 for some reason is not a operation expenses account. So 7599 and then 76012 to 7709. 76012 to 7799. And then again click on plus, and then 7710 to 7758. Uh, 7760 to 7799. I mean, like when you're doing for the first time, it's little cumbersome, but this is just a one-time activity. And once you define this particular report, you can use the same report. You can use the same report every month. So first time it will be time-consuming, 700-800. So in our live environment, what we do is whenever we get a requirement, we first prepare the report in the testing environment, cross check whether the format everything is fine, and then double check whether the numbers are fine. And once that is done, we migrate to our pre-prod environment, ask the user to test, and then migrate to production. 7870 to 7899.
Just curious, sir. How do you migrate this report? Because as
Manual.
there is no involvement of technical, right?
No, it's manual. But there is a program I saw, like there's a program called program FSG transfer. Okay, so that is also possible when you to migrate from one instance to another instance. There is a program called program FSG transfer. When you run that particular program, you can transfer the report row set, column set. Okay, but you need to have a database link created in the system. If the database link is created, then it is possible to migrate from one environment to another environment. But most of the clients, whatever I've seen, is for some reason they have not created the database link, and we are doing it manually.
And
I
no
cannot.
interaction.
Sorry.
No interfere with the technical team, right? For this activity.
No, no. As I said,
Typical.
like financial statement generated report can be totally created by the functional consultant. No technical requirement is required, and even that program FHE transfer program also he can run on his own. Only thing is a database link should have been created in the system. I can also show you that screen, and that will be created by the DBS.
Okay. Okay.
7898 7900. Okay, the last row. 8300 to 8519. Save this. Okay, so this completes the operating expenses part. Okay, now next item is depreciation expense. Depreciation expense. And what is the line number? 71. And for depreciation expense, I want to skip one line. We have already said that skip one line after for operating expenses. So we'll not again say skip one line before for depreciation expense. But only thing is we want to display an underscore or underline after. So underline character after. Display row, display, always ensure that display row and display zero checkbox is checked for all the row items. Okay, need not make any need not check click on this change sign checkbox. Depreciation expense always shows debit balance, and debit balance is stored as a positive value. Account assignments. $7,300. So for other segments, you can say 00 to ZZZ, or you can just leave it blank. So my screenshot shows 00 to 99, something like that. This is the depreciation expense. And then total expenses. So total expenses 72, and as far as total expense is concerned, we want to print an underscore or underline after. So underline character after display row, display zero, and then it's a calculation. Click on calculations. So first always say enter. So total expenses would be operating expenses plus depreciation expense. Save this. Okay, and the last item, net income or loss from the operations. Net income or loss from the operations. So this is the last item. Click on line item. Line number is 75, and check the output. You want to skip one line before. So lines to skip before one. Display row, display zero. Yeah, use the same change sign even for the net income. And then click on it's a calculations. Click on calculations 10. And what do you want here? You want gross profit minus total expenses. So what is gross profit? 55 to 55. What is total expenses? 72 to 72. Again, it's the same thing. Here you need to use plus, even though we are actually subtracting that. Okay. So save this, close this. So this completes the row set part. That is, you have specified what is your line items and what are the accounts from which you need to pick up the balance. Okay, but now how does system understand whether it needs to pick up PTD balance or YTD balance, whether it needs to pick up for the current year or previous year? So those things are actually defined under column set. Now you need to create a column set.
One question, Arvind.
What is the significance of variance there? Change sign for variance something? Checkbox.
This one. So
yeah.
Even to be frank, even I did not get a chance to look onto this. Like in some cases, I saw this is checkbox is checked. So what we'll do is, in our case, we'll not check this checkbox. Okay, and then we'll try to check this checkbox and see what will be the impact on that. Okay.
Arvind, in the report, the value can be shown as a minus.
If you want to show the value as a minus, then don't check the checkbox of change sign. If you do not check the checkbox of change sign, then it will be shown as the whatever the value which is retrieved from the database will be shown there. If it is a negative value, it will show as a negative. If it is a positive value, it will show positive value.
Okay, but we don't know that whether it's a profit or loss, right? So in the report, will that be shown as what exactly the value was?
So based on this particular calculations, okay, based on this particular calculation, it is showing a positive value, okay, and because we are using the checkbox of change sign. So to answer your question, I think that should be possible through this change sign on variance.
Yes, exactly, probably.
Yeah. So we'll not check this checkbox, and then we'll try to run the report for the time being. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have completed the row set, and now go to the column set. Again, give a proper naming convention. So Reliance annual comparative currency and current and YTD, something like that. That's the name which I come up with. You can use the same as a description. Now click on define columns. So this is the first column. So again, even here there is something called position, from where exactly it needs to start. So I used a position of 101. Sequence is the running sequence of the column set value. You can say 1, 2, 3, or you can say 10 starts from 10. And the amount type is you want to show, where is that? The PTD balance. Okay, prior year PTD. Okay, these two are YTD balances and these two are PTD balances. So select the amount type, as there are so many different amount types available in the system, and select PTD, period to date, PTD actual. Okay, and display column, display 0. Okay, again, do not check this checkbox of change sign or change variance, because you have already taken care of those things in row set. If you do again the same thing in positive set, in the column set, then again it will be overwritten whatever is mentioned in the row set. Okay, and offset value. Okay, what is offset value? So as far as this particular row is concerned, I'll use an offset of minus 13. Okay, so what is the significance of this offset? So in my current example, I am building this particular report for Reliance INR ledger, and for Reliance INR ledger, my accounting calendar has got 13 periods. Okay, when we are defining our accounting calendar, we have defined our accounting calendar as 13 periods. So so this is my current period PTD. So for this particular column, I will say offset as 0. Okay, and this is the prior year PTD. So that means this is September 17 and this is September 16. So when I'm running the FSG report, I'll run the report for September 17. So when you are running an FSG report, you need to specify the period for which you want to run the report. Okay. So when I'm running the report for September 17, how does system understand like how many periods it needs to go back? It is based on the offset number. So here I'm specifying offset number as minus 13. So that means go 13 periods backwards. So when you go 13 periods backwards, then you will reach September 16. When I run this particular report for say December 17, then go 13 periods backward, then it will show this as December 16. Okay, so that is dynamic. So for this is my current period, and go 13 periods backward. If I say minus 6, then it will go 6 periods backwards. If I say minus 1, then it will go 1 period backward. So here our objective is to show the current PTD and previous year same period PTD. So if you look at your any annual financial statements of any companies, you will see current year, previous year, current year, previous year, something like that. Current QTD, previous QTD, current QTD, previous QTD, something like that. Okay, so in this case my objective is to show the balance as of today or in the current month, as well as the balance for this revenue in the previous year same month. So like when I'm publishing this financial statement to the shareholders, I can say that, see, in my current period my revenue is 70,000, current period same year the revenue is 0. So that means I was able to go on year growth of so and so percentage. So last year it was say 0, for the same month this year it is $70,000. So you can see there is a tremendous increase in my revenue, something like that. Okay, and if you want to show those percentages, that is change in the revenue compared to the previous year, you can add one more column for percentages, and there are some percentages columns also you can use in the amount type, PTD, YTD, percentages, something like that. Okay, so that's the offset. And going back to my column set. Okay, don't do any account assignment or column assignment, that's already taken care. Now click on that's already taken care in the row set. So generally in the row set you do an account assignments or calculation. As far as the amount types are concerned, that is whether it's a PTD or YTD, that will be taken care in the column set. Okay, now click on plus. Now we need to add the this row, this column, current period actual. Okay, I am starting with 119. The earlier one was 101, this is 119. Sequence 20, amount type PTD actual, and offset will be 0 because this I want to show for the current period. Save this. And then actual for prior year, I think this is actual for prior year, YTD. Okay, this is done. And now third column, I'm starting YTD actuals 137. So sequence would be 10, 20, 30. YTD actual, and this will, what will be the offset here? If this the offset for this actual current YTD as of current month is 0, so the offset for this should be minus 13. And then last row 155, last column, sequence 40, YTD actual, offset 0, display 0, save this. Okay, so that completes the column set. And now what is the last step? Last step is I need to define a report and combine this row set and column set. But before I do that, I need to do something else in the column set. So I need to click on, so here in the defined columns, I'm mentioning YTD, sorry, F11, control F11. So I'm mentioning that PTD minus 13 periods, PTD 0 periods, 0 offset, YTD minus 13 periods, and YTD 0 as an offset. But I did not mention, anywhere I did not mention this column name and this underlines. Okay, so that is possible under the column set builder. Click on column set builder. So here you can see we have 2 columns, rather sorry 4 columns. And now what should be the width of each of those columns? So I just want to show the width as a 30. So this is where you do a different iterations whenever you are building a first report. So change this to 30, change this to 25, change this to 35, and so on and so. And I want to see an underline, then this description, then underline. Okay, so under column heading, first I want to put an underline, and then prior year PTD. So I want to call it as prior year PTD. Prior year PTD. Year PTD, and I want to bring it as central, so make it center, and then underscore. Okay, that is for the first column. And for second column, again same underline. This is current year PTD. Current year, I just want to change it to current year PTD. And then underline. And then third column, underline. What is the column name? Actual for prior year YTD. Underline. Underline. Column name, we can call it as actual YTD amount. Okay, click on apply. So we are done with the column set. Now build a report. Navigate to this report. Okay, give any name to your report. You can say Reliance income statement. That is the name of the report. And but what exactly is the title which you want to display in the top of the report? Reliance annual comparative to income statement. That is the title which you want to display. And what is the row set? What is our row set? ARV income, Reliance income statement row set is the row set which we have created. And what is the column set which you have created? Reliance annual comparative to currency and current and YTD. That's the column set. So save this. So as I said, that the report is a combination of row set and column set. These two are mandatory. All other things, content set, row order, display set, all these are optional. Okay. Now we are done with the creation of the report. Now we will generate this report. How we can generate the report? Okay. So there is one option to click on run report. So if you do this from here, the report will be directly generated in the text. This is the traditional way of running the report in 11i. Okay. But in R12, we got a functionality of running of the publishing of the Excel FSG report in Excel using XML publisher. Okay, copy this report name. So you can use a Oracle provided report program publish FSG. That's the name of the report which we need to run. Program publish FSG. That's the name of the report, the first one. Okay. So as I said that when you are running a FSG report, ledger is mandatory. Okay. So it is defaulting your ledger which is assigned to your responsibility, and name of the report. So this is the name of the report which we built. Okay. And period. What is the period for which you want to run? September 17. So September 17 is my current period. This will be September 16. So this will be the PTD balance as of September 17. This is the PTD balance for September 16. So this is the YTD balance as of September 17. This will be the YTD balance as of September 16. Okay, run this report now. And when you are running this report, there are predefined layouts available which is provided by Oracle. Click on options. Select this template of basic Excel template. There are different templates. Okay, first we'll concentrate on the basic Excel template. Okay, submit this. Let me close this. Nope. Completed in error. Great. So these are all production support issues. Okay, what is the error? Okay, looks like no data found. So that means for all the accounts or segments, whatever we used, there is not even a data for any of those segments. Because this being a new chart of accounts, we would not have used even those accounts to pass any entries. So now what I'll do is I'll pass some entries, post the journals and rerun this particular report. Okay. So I mean, this is how Oracle works here. Like when you are running a report, it is completing an error. The output doesn't say that no data found. You need to get into the log file, and in the log file somewhere it says no data found. I mean, from a user perspective, like if he gets this error, then he'll raise a ticket. He'll not get into the log file and check what exactly is the reason. Okay, go to journals, enter. Now we need to have some journals which has. Let me go back to. We need to have some journals which has balance under revenue, some balance under cost of sales, some balance under operating expenses, and then at least system should be able to bring up these things. Okay, revenue. So we'll try to create some test revenue journals under September. 01 company, and the revenue accounts are starting with I think 4. Some revenue account hardware sales revenue something. So I want to credit my revenue, which is say $70,000 or rupees, and I want to debit bank account debit your revenue account, something like that, bank or cash account. Post this. That's for the revenue. At least we got some entry with some balance, and then new journal, test expenses journal. Expenses. So expenses, what is the range? I think for employee expenses we have used some 5,000 range, right? So pick up some expense, cost of sales account, 35,000, 20,000. That's fine. I think at least we got some balance under revenue and cost of sales. So operating expenses, depreciation expense, let it be 0. And then more or less now I use the same numbers here in my journal entries. So more or less now our report out should show exactly the same as what we can see here. So do you know why 4 posting programs got triggered when there are only 2 journals? Any guess? Yes or no? Any guess? Yes or no?
Yeah, 2 into the consolidation ledger.
No, not the consolidation ledger. Secondary ledger.
Secondary ledger, yeah.
So for each of the primary ledger, it is going into the corresponding secondary ledger. Okay, so now run the program. Submit new request. Program publish. FSG report. What is our report name? The first one. What is the report name? I think second one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. click on options, change the template, basic Excel template. Again, it's erroring out. Okay, again, it says no data found, but at least now we got some balance. Let us double check what is the row set. This is our row set. This is our row set. And as far as the revenue is concerned, we have used 4,000. So I use some account under 4,000, which falls under parent. So I should have some balance for the revenue. And for cost of sales also, I use some account which falls under 5,000 parent. Okay, let us double check that. Go to the account inquiry. Okay, so first for the revenue, I think we have used a revenue of sales revenue SC1. Check if there is really any balance. Here there is a balance, and this is the entry which was created just now, 23 September, Arvind. So there is some balance. INR is the currency. Yes. And what about the cost of sales? Also, we have entered 5110. So there is some balance, 20,000, which was entered just now by me. Yeah. So pretty much like even if there is a balance under any one of those things, I think that should be good. We have balance for revenue as well as balance for the cost of sales. But why is that it's still throwing error message? Level detector. Yeah. Did we make any mistake somewhere? Okay, what is the values for which we are running Reliance INR ledger, Reliance income statement, September, yeah, INR, okay. And we have created a general entries in INR ledger itself, right? Yeah, we have created general entries in Reliance INR. Okay, one thing which I want to double check is F11 Reliance. What's our value set? Sorry, rows column set Reliance something. Define columns. I just want to try something. I want to enter the currency as INR. So this will make any difference. Oh, it's again still the same error message. Okay, we'll go to other ledger, general ledger supervisor USD. So even here, I had created one report, F11. This is created, I think, today. And this is the one which I had created earlier, yesterday. The other difference is I just want to enter the currency as INR. Try this. Because the other report which I ran in USD ledger worked fine. So this is the last option we will try. Okay, again it's erroring out. Okay, now let me try to run the similar report whatever I had created in USD. It's exactly the same format. So this is the report. So now we under USD ledger we will try to run this report. Okay, it is completing normal. Now we will check the output of this one. So I need to check why it is erroring out for the INR ledger, but we can, for the time being, we can check this under USD ledger. Okay, so here when I'm running for the USD ledger, the mistake what we have done is I did not change the format. It's the default format of basic template. We will try to run the report in USD ledger. Submit new request. Program publish FSG report. Okay, and this is the USD ledger report. Okay, and in the options change the template, basic Excel template. Submit. Okay, it's completed normal. Click on view output. When you try to click on view output, it will try to open the output in Excel. Okay, okay, so this is the report. So I think Narendra said, Narendra, you are right. We need to check the checkbox of change sign in variance. So when you check this checkbox of change in sign in variance, this will be in positive. Okay, so 70,000 is the revenue, 50,000 is the cost of sales, 20,000 is the gross profit, and operating expense also something some 55,000. So in this case we got a net loss of 35,000 USD. So this we ran from USD, so this is in US dollars, currency is USD. So any
Yes,
questions here?
exactly.
Any questions? Are you good?
Yeah, we are good.
Okay, okay, so this is what it is like.